Sawadee good morning and welcome to Newsline. We're broadcasting live on NBT Radio Thailand FM 88 and NBT World. Today is Tuesday, June 7th, and you're with me, Suraphad Lautharanarit. And let's begin with today's segment of Thailand Moves Forward. In our first story, the Prime Minister has assured Japanese investors of more opportunities to expand businesses in Southeast Asia once the ASEAN Economic Community takes effect. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha has delivered a special speech at a seminar on the business strategies after the AEC, which was attended by more than 400 leading Japanese business people. General Prayut said that Thailand and Japan have been enjoying cordial relations at all levels and in various areas, from investment to tourism, trade, and agriculture. He added that with Thailand as Japan's major production hub in Southeast Asia for more than 30 years, the Board of Investment of Thailand has approved over 3.2 trillion baht investment privileges to more than 8,000 projects, which have in turn benefited the Thai economy. The Prime Minister has also invited Japanese businesses to invest more in Thailand, as the government will continue to facilitate all that should be needed, particularly for the investment in the special economic zones, when the trade value along the border is more than 900 billion baht already. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha has offered his congratulations to the Thai agencies that received this year's United Nations Public Service Awards, or UNPSA. The laureates included the Queen Sirikit National Institute of Child Health for its excellence in state project development through data dissemination, and Khon Kaen Hospital for its support for gender equality. The UN Public Service Awards has been held annually since 2008 to commemorate state agencies that have delivered quality service to the public throughout the year. The government organized a celebration to mark the end of Ramadan later this month. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha, who is also the leader of the National Council for Peace and Order, along with the cabinet, played host to the celebration at Government House as the fasting is coming to an end on July 17th or 18th. Sheikhul Islam of Thailand, Asit Pitak Kumpon, and representatives from the international Muslim community and local Islamic organizations across the country joined in the feast to break the fast. General Prayut said that the month of Ramadan and the religious practice by Muslims are a great blessing and fundamental for the coexistence in the society where conflicts still continue. He added that all must try to live together in peace, while the government will work hard to solve all problems and treat all equally, transparently, and with justice. The Prime Minister has been worried about the impact of the drought crisis in the country's northeastern region and ordered constant update on water supply management for a timely analysis. Deputy Government Spokesman Major General Sansern Kyaokamnert said that Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha has instructed all state agencies involved in the handling of the drought crisis to keep a close eye on the situation and ordered the Royal Irrigation Department to submit daily reports on incoming and discharged water to him in order to allow for the most accurate assessment of the situation. Mr. Sansern added that so far the artificial rain-making in northern and central regions has been satisfactory, with more than 90% of cloud seeding flights resulting in rainfall. However, he conceded that the amount of water flowing into drought-hit dams remains unsatisfactory and more must be done. The deputy government spokesman said that General Prayut is particularly worried about the well-being of northeastern farmers, as most of their farms are located outside the irrigation areas and must always depend on natural water sources. To date, more than 200 cloud seeding flights have been launched, but all efforts have not yielded much success. 40,000 cyclists have registered in the Bike for Mom 2015 bike ride in celebration of Her Majesty the Queen's 83rd birthday on August 12, 2015. People in other provinces can register for the ride in their localities until July 24th. Deputy Government Spokesman Major General Sansern Gyalgamnerd said the government had increased the number of participating cyclists from 20,000 to 40,000 people in the Bike for Mom 2015. As for those who failed to participate in the bike ride, Major General Sansern invited them to watch the whole activity live on TV. 4 entry points in Bangkok are located at the Royal Plaza, the Army Club on Vipawadi Rangsit Road, Kasetsart Sat University, and the 11th Infantry Regiment King's Guard. The 43-kilometer cycling route will start at the Royal Plaza to the 11th Infantry Regiment King's Guard before returning to the starting point. His Royal Highness Crown Prince Maha Vajiralongkorn will lead participating cyclists in the ride. The cycling routes in other provinces will start at the City Hall in each province. Finance Minister Sommai Phasi confirmed that the outcome of the Greek referendum to reject the terms of an international bailout had no impacts on the Thai economy. His confirmation came after he presided over the launching of the 500 million baht SMEs Private Equity Trust Fund on Monday. He explained that 76% of Greece's debts were held by Eurozone, the European Central Bank, and the IMF. Another 24% were held by commercial banks. The first portion of Greece's debts, worth $1.7 billion, was equal to 1% of Thailand's foreign exchange reserves, he added. He said the estimated 7% economic growth of China was more important for Thailand, as the country's economy has more influence on the Thai economy than the Greek one. He advised Thai people to consume news and information from social media in a mindful manner. According to him, despite less export revenue, the Thai economy is not in recession, as its imports have also lowered and helped the country keep its positive balance of trade. The government, he reiterated, has provided assistance measures for sectors affected by the drought disaster. He also revealed that the Finance Ministry has already nominated a new governor of the Bank of Thailand, and the name will possibly be proposed to the cabinet meeting today or later in the next meeting. The Committee on Energy Policy Administration, or CEPA, has decided to keep the retail price of liquefied petroleum gas, or LPG, unchanged for this month at 23.96 baht per kilogram. Following the latest meeting of CEPA, Minister of Energy Narongchai Akaraseni revealed that the meeting acknowledged a decline in the LPG price in the world market from $419 per ton in June to $407 this month. Nonetheless, he said a resolution was passed to not reduce the domestic retail price in line with the global rate, but to maintain it at 23.96 baht per kilogram. The move was aimed to allow for the payment of the price difference to the State Oil Fund. As a result, the contribution to the oil fund from LPG sales will increase 12 stang to 1.07 baht per kilogram, equivalent to about 314 million baht each month. The fund is currently running a surplus of 7.39 billion baht. Mr. Narongchai added that the LPG price restructuring policy, which has been effective since February this year, has helped the country cut LPG imports to only 93,300 tons a month in May, almost half the amount imported in December last year. He also affirmed that the price restructuring will be completed within this year. The National Reform Council, or NRC, has unanimously approved a report by its Committee on Natural Resources and Environmental Reform, which has proposed the setting up of a national climate change resilience network. Mr. Pramod Maiklat, chairman of the Environmental Reform Committee, delivered the report, which regards the issue of natural disasters as a matter that all Thais should confront. The issue calls for cooperation by all sectors in society in educating the public on the matter of climate change and its impact on safety. He called for a national strategic plan designed to adequately mitigate the damages of climate change and natural disasters through readiness programs and the dissemination of information. His committee proposed the establishment of a strategic committee to assess disaster relief efforts and to compensate victims. In addition, a national disaster alert center should be developed to include efficient mechanisms and a modern information sharing system for a swift response in a crisis. After the tabling, the NRC voted to approve the report with 187 votes in support, 4 in opposition, and 5 abstentions. The report will be forwarded to the Cabinet for its consideration. Representatives from Phang Nga Province have delivered a letter to the National Reform Council, or NRC, Committee on Natural Resources and Environmental Reform, conveying their disapproval of the Community Forest Bill. The group argued that the current version of the bill hinders the management of community forests by local communities. They cited a stipulation in the bill that prohibits the establishment of community forests in protected zones, effectively negating the rights of communities that have long resided in the area for generations. The group therefore called for the bill to be revised to truly reflect the country's reform principles of facilitating citizen participation. They also asked that community forest laws remain separate from laws regarding protected forests and endangered species in order to prevent difficulties in legal interpretation. The Ministry of Public Health is maintaining current measures put in place to limit any spread of communicable diseases, despite Thailand no longer having a MERS patient. Minister of Public Health Rachata Nawin visited Bamrung Rat Hospital in Bangkok to inspect the anti-MERS and anti-Ebola measures in place at the hospital, which recently cared for Thailand's only MERS patient until his recovery. The minister deemed that measures to prevent communicable diseases have been systematically implemented, and hospital personnel were following precautions against communicable diseases. Dr. Rachata indicated that the Ministry of Public Health was expanding its cooperation with private hospitals nationwide to increase the efficiency in preventing communicable diseases at tourism hotspots. Every hospital will need to prepare an isolation room to prevent the spread of contagious diseases. Fishery operators in the southern province of Krabi have been forced to dock their boats by strong waves, as the Weather Bureau has warned the south and the east of stormy conditions until next week. Authorities from Noparathara Beach, PP Islands National Park in Krabi have put up red flags along the famous Ao Nang Beach and Noparathara Beach in an attempt to caution locals and tourists against playing in the water during this period due to potential dangers from gusty winds and strong currents. According to reports, a number of fishing boats in the area have been brought back to the shore after being faced with the unfavorable weather condition. The Meteorological Department indicated that the southwest monsoon, prevailing over the Andaman Sea, the South, and the Gulf of Thailand, will continue to gain strength from now until July 13th. And that's it for today's Thailand Moves Forward segment. Let's check out the exchange rates and commodity prices now, and we'll be right back after the quick break.
maintain a strong nation, Thailand is promoting 12 core values for the good of the people. The fourth core value: seeking direct and indirect knowledge and education.
Even if we don't see them, they are amongst us. And they're hungry. Slay your power-sucking monsters. Take their power away. Think when you plug.
Physical connectivity, institutional connectivity, and people-to-people connectivity. The power to turn this region into a strong community. Witness the interconnectivity between the 10 Southeast Asian countries in ASEAN Connect via these channels.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. The Ministry of Commerce has issued 6 measures to aid domestic steel business affected by influx of steel imports from China. The Minister of Commerce, General Chatchai Sarikanya, said the measures have been adopted at a meeting between him and domestic steel business owners who have been affected by cheaper steel imports from China. The ministry will seek a chance to raise its concern over the steel influx from China that affects the domestic steel business at the ASEAN-China meeting to be held later this month. Thailand has seen imports of 5 million tons of steel from China during the last 5 months, while the annual volume of steel imports from China is as high as 12 million tons. Moreover, the quality of some steel imports is not meeting the required standard and causing security concern if used in the construction industry. Moving on to news from around the globe. Greece has a new finance minister, a 55-year-old mild-mannered professor who led the country's negotiations with international lenders that ended with a dramatic referendum. Like his predecessor, the colorful Yanis Varoufakis, Euclid Sakalotos had to plow through hordes of journalists as he entered the finance ministry in Athens on Monday after he was sworn in by the president minutes earlier. But unlike his predecessor, Sakalotos called for calm from the second he stepped out of his car, not a motorbike. In the ministry where Varoufakis officially handed over to Sakalotos in the form of a short news conference, the new minister admitted he was anxious about the task at hand. But Varoufakis was quick to point out that Sakalotos came from the same ideological stable. An Iraqi plane accidentally dropped a bomb on an eastern Baghdad neighborhood on Monday, police and residents said, killing at least 5 people, wounding 16, and destroying several houses. The Sukhoi jet had been taking part in an airstrike against Islamic State militants, Iraqi television said. One of its bombs failed to detach from the plane during the mission, then fell as the plane was returning to the base. Police in the Niraya neighborhood of eastern Baghdad put the death toll at 5. Although some residents said 7 people died. A crowd gathered at the site after the explosion, picking through twisted metal and concrete rubble as an ambulance tried to take the wounded to the hospital. Iraqi troops and jets, backed by mainly Shiite Muslim Hashabi fighters on the ground, and a U.S.-led air coalition, have been battling Islamic State militants who control much of the west and north of the country. Thousands of cheering revelers sprayed wine at each other as the El Chupinazo firework was launched at noon on Monday in Pamplona to kick off the annual 9-day Fermin Bull Running Festival. Crowds of Spaniards and foreign visitors packed the town hall dressed in the festival's traditional white T-shirts and trousers, while holding up red handkerchiefs for a noisy and colorful party. The Chupinazo marks the beginning of 204 hours of uninterrupted party until the 14th of July at midnight. When the fireworks exploded, hundreds of excited crowds tied red handkerchiefs around their necks. Spraying each other with wine, flour, and champagne while singing and dancing, the revelers welcomed Los San Fermines, perhaps Spain's most famous fiesta. And that's the end of today's edition of Newsline. For any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook or simply visit our website at thainews.prd.go.th/newsin. And for now, we're going to say goodbye with a baby giraffe making its public debut at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park. I'm Surapat Lautara Narit. Thank you for joining us and have a great day. สวัสดีครับ